These two big houses were his. This was his and the second one was of his brother. It's better if he doesn't go there. He doesn't feel very well. They had very beautiful life. They had any possibility. He doesn't want to go. He cannot see it. Really. He feels sorry.
On June 16, 1999, 4 days after victorious NATO troops occupied Kosovo, roving bands of ethnic Albanians attacked almost every Gypsy community in Kosovo. More than 100,000 Gypsies, Roma, Ashkali, and Egyptians, were chased out of their homes, which were then looted and destroyed. Now, in what was once the largest Gypsy community in Kosovo, and a thriving neighborhood of more than 8,000 people, only sheep live and graze among the ruins. Most of Mitrovica's Gypsies escaped abroad. The rest, about 800, found shelter in an empty schoolhouse. After several months, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees took charge of them. The UN called them IDPs, internally displaced people, and decided to house them in tents and hurriedly built shacks, a temporary solution for 45 days, until these homeless people could be returned to their original neighborhood or taken to another country. Today, 6 years later, about 500 of these Mitrovica Gypsies are still here.
Nijedna organizacija do sada ne pomogne ovim Romima. Oni kako se snađe, živi neko po đubre, neko izlazi pokuplja gvožđe, pa prodaju onako. Mora da proživi, nema otkud da živi.
26 familija menkate i nam kaj krikatari češmala, vidite pija, vidite naja, vidite za kuvanje, sve.
The shacks in these camps were not built by the Gypsies, but by UNHCR and their implementing partner, Action by Churches Working Together. Old lead-painted boards, overflowing septic tanks, and sometimes no running water for up to 6 months have made living conditions unbearable. But worse than the conditions of the camps is the location where the Mitrovica Gypsies were placed, next to 100 million tons of toxic waste. Mitrovica has one of the world's largest resources of lead. The smelter at Trepčka Mines was closed 5 years ago by the UN administration to prevent further pollution. But according to Ilija Ilazovic from the Kosovo Health Authority in Mitrovica, dangers from the toxic material remain.
Problemi su ostali su u vidu deponija koje onda olovne prašine, olova u vodi i olova koji ugrožava živote. Posebno su ugroženi Roma kampovi koji se neposredno nalaze u industrijskoj zoni, u zoni gdje ruže vetrova direktno nanose prašinu, olovnu prašinu preko njihovog kampa. Ja mislim da je opasnost toliko velika da preti opasnost da čitava generacija jedna nestane.
In 2000, WHO, the World Health Organization, took the first blood test for lead poisoning in the Mitrovica area. The highest levels were found in the Gypsy camps. In fact, the levels were so high that a special report prepared for the UN recommended immediate evacuation of the camps and fencing off of the toxic land so other people couldn't accidentally enter. The UN not only kept the camps open, but also built a jogging track and sports ground between two of the camps and the toxic slag heaps. Called the Alley of Health, the UN sign advises using these sporting facilities to inhale the odor of health. Exercising, opening the lungs, allows for more toxic dust to enter the body. Dr. Milana Stojanovic works for the Institute of Public Health in Mitrovica. In the past year, she has tested more than 60 Gypsy children from the camps for lead poisoning.
Došla sam do podataka da deca u izbjegličkim kampovima Česmin Lug, Kablar i Žitkovac imaju visoke koncentracije olova u kapilarnoj krvi. Bilo kakva iskustva sa ovakvom populacijom, sa ovako visokim nivom olova na jednom tako malom prostoru.
Dr. Stojanovic's results show most of the children with lead levels higher than 65 micrograms per deciliter, the highest level her equipment could measure. 3 micrograms per deciliter is the normal level of lead for people living in Germany. At 10 micrograms per deciliter, litigation cases are accepted by courts in the state of New York. 65 micrograms per deciliter, the lead levels in the camps, constitute a medical emergency requiring immediate evacuation.
Sad si opuvkaj si otrove od tekata. Andor kjer sa mai šukar, ni olovi, ni ništa, ni javili čere. Sara veljamo, ker šo beška te sema men.
Pa katero sa stipeka na sama se nama rečera, čavrisi sa original. Vi sa ste, vi kova, vi na svako inače. A pisa vilam kate vi bi pajesko, vi bi higijensko, a si higijena najas kanči.
It is unreasonable to assume this woman was affected by lead poisoning due to the high level of lead found in her children's blood. Young children under the age of 6 are especially vulnerable to lead's harmful health effects because their brains and central nervous system are still being formed. For them, even very low levels of exposure can result in reduced IQ, learning disabilities, attention deficit disorders, and behavioral problems. Other problems may include stunted growth, impaired hearing, and kidney damage. Reduced coordination and problems walking could be some of the most prominent signs of high-level lead poisoning. Also, at high levels of exposure, black stripes of lead will appear on a child's gums. In the worst cases, a child may become mentally retarded, fall into a coma, and even die from lead poisoning.
This is Janita Mehmeti. She was a bright 4-year-old gypsy girl attending the camp kindergarten when her teacher noticed she was losing her memory and finding it hard to walk. Her older sister Malasha recalls what happened.
Desila se, došla iz škole, posle 2 sata, imala je 2 sati, nije bila ni bolesna, ni ništa, tako od samog sebe. Samo se, znaš, tu se slugila.
Janita Mehmeti died on July 22, 2004 in the Žitkovac UN camp. In December 2004, Janita's 2-year-old sister Nikolina started showing the same symptoms. The local health authority requested permission from the UN health officer in Mitrovica to take Nikolina to Belgrade for treatment. Dr. Shevchenko, the UN health officer, refused. In April, after seeing Nikolina having convulsions and falling in and out of consciousness, a local NGO, Kosovo Roma Refugee Foundation, took Nikolina to a hospital in Belgrade where she was treated for lead poisoning. To date, Nikolina and her family are the only ones to have escaped from the UN camps and be medically treated. They now live in the small village of Preluje, 20 kilometers from the source of poisoning, where an American donor has bought them a small piece of land to build a new home. Despite Nikolina's improved condition, her father is still concerned about her health.
Pa nisam neke probleme imao sa ovu drugu decu. Svako 2 godine, svako je pregovorilo i išlo. Problem je sa ovo dete što ona već 2,5 godine ima. Ono hoda pomalo, vidite, ali da govori ne može.
All children conceived in the camps will have irreversible brain damage. So what is being done about it? After 6 years and 29 deaths, the UN is not following medical advice and evacuating the camps. Instead, the UN has started delivering small amounts of food and juice every other week, the first food aid since 2002. No children or pregnant women, the most vulnerable, are being medically treated for lead poisoning, only given provisions in exchange for empty juice boxes from the week before. The UN administration in Kosovo says the only solution is to send the Gypsy IDPs back to their old, destroyed neighborhood in South Mitrovica. All fear to return. Tina Gidic, a Romani staff member for Society for Threatened Peoples, was afraid for her own safety on a recent visit to the old Mahala while making this film.
We were waiting in event in the old Mahala. I was with my Romani friend who is the driver, and one group of Albanians came and they threatened us. They said that we have to get lost from that Mahala and we don't have rights to go there. So I think if IDPs from the camp ever go back to that Mahala, they will always have problem with Albanians, and I think they will burn down their houses again.
Most people wonder what the solution will be, including Gushani Skender, one of the leaders of the IDP camps.
Te kampe moglo bi se samo da se te kampove zatvore da bi se preneseli u van treće zemlje, jer uslovi dalje voditi tih ljudi nijedna opština neće da prihvate, jer smo mi jednostavno jedan narod koji svako želi da ih skida o svojim.
Zajednica je napravila katastrofalnu grešku izgradnjom tog naselja u neposrednoj blizini, nije se vodilo računa i to je kobno i tragično po sve žitelje, ako se zove, a posebno Rome.
Deca mi je bolestan, žena mi je bolestan, možda i ja sam bolestan. Svi su deca nervozan, i žena i ja. Džavi, sada i kući da nam daje, ne treba ni kući ni ništa.
Does this little girl have any hope for a better life? She was born in a camp built on toxic wasteland. She was born with irreversible brain damage. The UN is turning a blind eye to her plight. Will you too?